If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. Make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show.
What a warm and surprise for all of y'all. It is Shanya Shay Forston, president and founder of the Angela Denise Foundation, co-founder of Forston Consultants, and it's a Shay takeover, y'all. I kicked Derrick to the curb, and I am here live and direct to hang out with you all to talk about the HRA, the ILF, and how we sprinkle a nonprofit on board with that. So good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Tonight is going to be what you make it. I'm here to answer all of your questions pertaining to the ILF, the HRA, and the nonprofit space. And if y'all want, I'll sprinkle in a little bit of Digital Flow Solutions and how we utilize those platforms to pursue and get the word out on who we are, what we do. So again, I'm Shay Forston, the wife of Derrick, and y'all get me tonight. I want to thank y'all for you consistently being here, as we are consistently here for you to give you information and insight on the ILF. So again, for those of you that may be new to the platform, I'm Shay Forston, Derrick Forston's wife, and I am an owner and operator of an ILF, which is an independent living facility. And here at Forston Consultants, we've gone through all of the bumps and bruises. We've gone through all of the hurdles and the obstacles. We've gone through all of the trial and error so that you don't have to. We're going to talk about the ILF model, and tonight's topic is no property, no problem, the HRA. We have coaches so that when we coach you all, you are getting not just the best of our information, but we get educated so that we can in turn educate y'all. So we're not the coaches that just, don't get coached. We have coaches. So it's all about getting that information, gathering that knowledge so we can pour back into you all. So let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. For those of you that don't know what an ILF is, it is an independent living facility where you house people that are independent. They can cook for themselves. They can catch the bus. They can make their doctor's appointments. They can do all that they need to do to self-sustain. All they need is access to affordable housing. So that is what an ILF is. Yes, we may encounter people with mental health disorders. We may encounter people that have disabilities, or have been through tough times, human sex trafficking, domestic violence. All of those things are, those inabilities or those issues, life circumstances come with the populations that we serve. So tonight, I am an open book. I am going to answer your questions. I'm more prone to answering questions, but I want to talk to you a little bit before we get started. And then I do see some questions in the chat of how I do this as a nonprofit founder. How do I establish the ILF in a nonprofit structure? A lot of people ask. I'm in the process of creating a course. I told y'all since last week that if you see this picture, I am still recording. I am not back in my office because I am preparing the ILF, the nonprofit Know Before You Go course that will give you insight on how you can to start a nonprofit organization. And it does not have to be for housing. It can be for anyone in general. But let's get back to the topic at hand. How do I house women or house any population as a nonprofit organization? That is my bread and butter. Most people don't know that nonprofits need some form of income, a sustainable income, to help them function and to have infrastructure, right? Most people don't want to give to something that's broke. So they want to see that you have some type of funds that are coming in consistently. And the ILF model for me is the thing that brings in an income that allows donors to see that we are actively doing something that can, again, support itself. And people are more likely to pour into that because it's already self-sustaining and it's already created. It's creating its own income. And it's doing something to impact the community for good. So that's how we started on an ILF, independent living facility, in a nonprofit structure. So I'm going all over the place as we're going and teaching people. We're showing people the benefits of having a nonprofit arm along with your for-profit, that you can kind of do works together. There's times that I will write something, a proposal for Forston Consultants, and they now in turn write me a check, right, for my nonprofit. So those are, and that's tax deductible for Forston Consultants. So there's so many benefits to that. So again, that is how I do this as a nonprofit founder. So again, for y'all that don't know what an ILF is, I want you to go ahead and if you're new here, text the word new to the number scrolling below, the 407-326-0086 number, and get you some get some information and get the free gift. We have a free gift for you. And that's going to help you get on the road to starting your own independent living facility and making a huge dynamic impact in your community. So let's go through the questions, y'all. Yanni says, hey everyone, how do we avoid rental scams in Florida for our ILF? Great question. And it's not just the state of Florida. It's a lot of areas that are having this issue, and scammers are becoming so knowledgeable on how to get around the system, and you will not know until you literally put money down somewhere and realize that you've been scammed. So how to avoid it? You've just got to do your due diligence. I tell people all the time, check multiple platforms to see if that listing is listed on those other platforms for the same price, right? And by the same person, because you'll be able to see discrepancies. So if you find it on Zillow, go look on rent.com, look on realtor.com, look on all these different platforms and see if it's consistent, and call from multiple platforms as different people, right? And say, hey, I'm interested in this property, blah, 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 blah. See if the interaction is the same, and ultimately don't give a dime to nobody. Don't give a dime to nobody until you trust and verify that they are who they are. Go into the county records, right? See who owns the property. I would even vet the person that's renting the property. Ask them questions. If it's in a trust, know information that know that it's in a trust. So that way, if you feel like you're in that scam web, you can kind of redirect and be educated and well informed so that scam does not fall on you. In turn, you can now report it and get them in trouble. So I hope that if that answers your question, Yanni, go ahead and let me know in the chat so that I can, whatever you guys got, or if you have any other follow-ups to that. Always trust but verify. People are doing a lot of wacky things. So just be very cautious, be very careful of what's going on in today's society. So verify, vet anything, do your homework on the property. Let's talk about the ILF model, and let's talk about how we can become ILF owners and operators without really having an ILF, and that is called the HRA, the Housing Referral Agency, where you can now be the point person, or that person in the middle that has connections with the providers, those that need housing and those that have houses that need beds filled. You play that pivot in the middle like a seesaw. So it's all up to you to balance the seesaw by connecting the two, right? And when you do that, you can attach a referral fee to that, because that housing provider would have never gotten the resident without your relationship to the case manager, or even just the social service provider that needs housing, right? Needs housing for the residents. So that's the HRA, and it's the fundamentals, guys. I tell anybody and everybody this: when I'm coaching you, I burn it into your brains that the HRA is the first steps to getting your ILF up and running, because you're learning all of the basics. You're learning all of the information that you need to know in order to be a successful housing provider. You're learning the assessment. You're creating all of the relationships. You're getting the phone calls. Now you're hearing from the clients. You're assessing them with, you're getting more gooder, if that's a word. You're getting better at the assessment. So now you're able to weed through and find the right fit for your house when you become an ILF owner. So the HRA is the fundamentals of the ILF. So don't get that twisted. A lot of people are like, well, I want to be an ILF owner and operator. What happens if you're in a standstill and getting property, right? And you've already done all of the forefront work. You've connected with case managers, you've connected with social workers, your phone's starting to ring. People are calling because they need housing. As an HRA owner and operator, you will be the resource for those that need housing. So the biggest tool in this is relationships, nurturing the relationships on both sides. Housing providers, those case managers, social workers, hospitals, all of that stuff. And then you are the one that bridges the gap between the two, and you can make a good referral fee. Another thing is you keep the client in your arm's length, right? So Lord forbid that client needs to be sent somewhere else in 60 days because they're just not a good fit to that housing program. So the HRA is technically the beginning, the foundational pieces of becoming an ILF owner and operator. Okay, guys? For y'all that don't know Katara has been around us for many years. Katara, and y'all hear Derrick boast about Katara on a regular basis, but it's always exciting to me when I meet with Katara because one, she's humble. Two, her heart is for those that she serves, and you see it in the way God has been blowing on her ILF, her business, and how she's been able to encompass family in this whole thing, and it has been phenomenal. So meeting with her and her VA today and her team to go over implementing some new structural components that make it easier by adding software and systems was immaculate. Katara, put in the chat how you enjoyed that meeting, what you were able to take from that, what you're going to be able to add to your ILF because of software and systems now. I want you to share that with people in the chat because I want them to know that when you join Forston Consultants, it is not all about we have a product to give you. No, we are changing the way you do business. We are changing your life. We are giving you the resources and tools that you need to impact your community. We are not here to just sell you. We are here to transform you. The information we have, the bumps and bruises, everything that Derrick has been through, and me too, because I've been behind them kicking and screaming sometimes. But ultimately, we go through these things so that you all can transition into business, whether it be the ILF, whether it be your business that you currently run with enough resources to do well and to make a significant change in your life and your family's livelihood. So I just wanted to take that pig trail because Katara's meeting today was amazing. She is doing amazing things. And now she gets to tie everything up in a perfect bow by adding software and systems. She has the virtual assistant. She's got the ILF. She has the HRA down. She's operating multiple ILFs with people chasing her down to get her more houses so that she can fill more beds. So like I said, I'm here to answer y'all questions. Shonda asked, how do we decide how much to charge for the move-in fee? It is totally up to you. I'm going to be very honest. You've got to be mindful of the population we serve. And for those housing providers that are here, so Katara, I think Magna's here. Let's see who else is in the chat that has houses. Those of you that have houses, what are the things that you're what are the things that you're taking into account when you establish a move-in fee? For me, I'm a nonprofit. So guess what I rely on? I don't have a move-in fee. Because I am a nonprofit organization, I don't add that. I just don't. There are times that organizations will front it or give it to me. There are, like, prime example, I'm waiting on I got an email a couple of hours ago today that another grant is coming through from one of our consistent donors now, I would say, and that is First Horizons Bank. So I want to give a huge shout out to them and for all of their support last year to this year. And they're like, hey, checks in the mail. So what we do is we establish what we're going to use those funds for and let them know, hey, this is what we're going to use those funds for. Anybody that has a shortage in rent, or if we need to refresh a room, do all of that, that's what that'll be for. So I can waive those move-in fees. So for me, it's waiving the move-in fee. You can only have one or the other: deposit that is somewhat refundable, Move-in fee, not refundable. So just keep that in mind, okay? That you don't want to have both, but you're going to have to make a conscious decision on how you're going to do that based on the income as you're seeing it, as you're seeing people's, as you are assessing your residents or potential residents. You find out what their income is. The good thing about software and systems, guys, is your software will allow you to keep notes and keep track of what's the average income. What are you seeing as the average income of these individuals? And if you're like, let's say you assess 20 people in a week, and you realize that out of that 20 people, they are just about able or cutting it close to being able to pay your bed fee. Where are they going to get a move-in fee from? Right? So you have to make the conscious decision on how and when that is applicable to even have that established, or if it's possible, right? So that's my input on that. Let's see. Katara says, I charge $200 for private pay residents, the equivalent of the bed fee for program assisted residents. So again, Katara may have a niche that income is suitable for the bed fee. They can afford it, so she does it. So again, it just really depends on where you're located, the population you're serving, and their incomes, right? Let me see. What is your question? I'm ready to start the HRA now. I'd like to get a virtual assistant to make the calls, post, and such. What do I need to do so I can get started today? Absolutely. First and foremost, I believe you can text HRA to 407-326. I'm going to test it first. Let me test HRA. So I'm testing this to see if it works, Juju. If it works, then we got something going on, and I don't think it works. But Juju, go ahead and just text the word. It does. Boom. Nope, it just gives the webinar. Don't do the HRA prompt. Do me a favor. You can still just say, I'm ready, HRA. Text to that number, 407-326-0086, and put, I'm ready, HRA. And I'll go ahead and have the team send you the link to purchase, and you can get started. As soon as you get that link, you make that purchase, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get the agreement, sign it, read through it, sign in it. It's a purchase agreement, sign it. Your course automatically goes to your email. So check your email. Once you sign it, you get immediate access into the course. Then you'll see other things happening, like you can get an upgrade to the private ILF, IMB family talk, where we meet every third Wednesday of the month, and we have deep conversations. When I say deep, we go hours long talking about all things ILF, HRA, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And there's all this content, other meetings, links to other, live sessions and Zoom replays and stuff like that we've done in the past. And that's an upgrade for $47 a month. So go ahead and text that, Juju, and then you're part of the HRA family. And we say, welcome, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those of you that don't know what the HRA is, again, it's equivalent to the framework of the ILF, right? It is the foundational aspects. It's how you're going to get your phone ringing. It's how you're going to connect with the case managers and social workers. It's how you're going to start connecting with the housing providers as well, so that you can be a referral agent sending them residents, right? That you will be a resource to the housing providers that are having a tough time filling their beds. You've now made connections. They need the beds filled. Boom, you make it happen by standing in the middle and bridging the gap, making up the hedge, right? Let's talk about it. That is what the HRA is, truly fundamentals. Family, it has been a privilege and honor. I thank y'all for letting me do a takeover, and then it was taken over by somebody.
Hey, what's going on, family? Have you ever imagined starting your own housing program? That's probably why you're here. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, like you're kind of getting right now, but in a more of a one-on-one setting, just you and I, that's our ILF Mastery Blueprint. There's a number that they're scrolling below on this screen right now. If you text the word scholarship to that phone number, my team is going to get you some information. So first of all, I'm going to say congratulations and thank you for moving at the speed of instruction. We look forward to working with you. And again, this is only for people that desire our one-on-one coaching, which is designed to watch you succeed from going from a zero to a hero when it comes to information and knowing how to implement this independent living facility model without any mistakes. That's most important. So again, our ILF Mastery Blueprint, guys, there's a scholarship that's available for it that'll slice the price in half, which is also a no-brainer. So again, if you've ever desired to start your own housing program, but you thought you needed a license, you don't. You thought you had to be a nurse, you don't. You thought you had to own the property, you don't. Consider our ILF Mastery Blueprint, where we are going to take you to success and let God use you in your community, housing the homeless and the displaced. Let's get back to the show.